Today we're talking about common signs that would show you that it's time for you to reawaken and get rid of all the blockages that's in the way for you to live a happy life. I believe that for many of us, we do have this type of different times and periods in life where we do this continuous journey of rediscovering ourselves, redefining, rewriting our stories and our beliefs. So these signs that I collected is just from my own experiences, from myself, and also from meeting others. So this is just, something that I have on my mind, my heart, where I have seen that there are a couple of signs that we can pick up on to understand that now is the time to, take a little bit extra care of ourselves and discover things within us and redefine ourselves. So the first thing is that you look outside of yourself. Let's say that you have a thought that I'm procrastinating things, or I'm self-sabotaging, or whatever it is. You're very quick into Googling about what is self-sabotage. What are the signs of sabotage? What are the signs of inner criticism, or whatever it is? You tend to, go very quickly into Google, or go very quickly into talking to someone about that. What can it be? Instead of asking you for questions. And something where I realized throughout the discovery of myself and my reawakening is also that sometimes when I think I do have an answer, I'm not really done yet. So many times nowadays I take a step back and give me a little bit extra time to reflect upon something before I ask someone else for advice, because advices from others and such is also great, right? But it starts from within, and you are your greatest guide. Other signs of that you may be looking outside of yourself instead of inside of yourself is that you are avoiding things. You're doing things by avoiding them. You maybe feel that you're getting an emotion, a very strong emotion about something, and you grab your phone directly and check out the latest update on social media or whatever it is. You're quick into doing something else as soon as you're getting some type of emotion, or if you're getting some type of thought that is not really what you want to go through, or you don't really have the answer for it. Instead of sitting with it, you maybe go for a walk, you maybe do something else, so you just like disconnect away from you instead, for to start to connect within instead. Sign number 2 is that you're bound and being controlled by your fears. Yes, so fear is a common sign, and fear is something where I myself discovered that can be a little bit tricky, because you can have fear in a couple of different areas. And fears can be everything from, being in a certain setting. It can be feared of achieving something. It can be a fear of that you are worrying about what other people think about you, what they say when you leave in the room, or what they say about it, what you said. You're having these type of different fears around being wronged to, or being wrong, or something of that sort. So fears are like a major thing, right? So you have to put it on your situation, what that can be. But that is a common sign that I noticed that we do carry around actually with a lot of fears that is restricting us and limiting us from living the best self. And also that we can be afraid of being lonely, for instance, and not wanting to really sit with ourselves and be with ourselves. So the more that we are digging into our different fears and our personal fears, the more we realize that we have a couple of things that we can do here. We have a lot of things that we can change. So the third thing is that we are worrying a lot, and we worry about ourselves, but we also worry about others. So that can be that we, instead of being concerned about our issues, we're thinking about someone else. That person, my brother, my sister, or something, have these difficulties right now. I hope that things will be solved for them. And you're going around and thinking about those person's problems, but as a matter of fact, you also do have your own problems as well. So this is a little bit in regards to also what you're avoiding sometimes, but that is something common that I'm seeing as well, that we do have a lot of love and a lot of care for others, which is beautiful, wonderful, but we tend to see that we maybe should have a look at also what we need to discover in ourselves, or what we need to work through at this time. So the fourth sign for that it's time for you to reawaken and redefine yourself is that you have a lot of negative attachments, obsessions, and addictions in one way or another, to substances, to people, to different relationships, that normally also you see type of a pattern with it. And all of these negative attachments are keeping you trapped. so to say, trapped to live your best self and do something else actually that can be more fulfilling in the moment and in general in the bigger picture as well. So instead of trying out that new hobby that we won't have wanted to do for a while and we feel intuitively that that might be something for us, instead of that we are binge watching or we are overindulging in something, we are buying too much of something or whatever it might be, right? So there is this type of negative attachment and negative pattern that you keep on repeating, and that is a common sign as well. Sign number 5 is that you do believe that your negative habits and behaviors are good to you or for you. And this is kind of a defense mechanism that is happening within. So that can be, for instance, that you have a certain type of behavior that you are protecting yourself from other people and normally don't interact so much or not letting people in. And why you do that is because you are telling yourself that people are not to be trusted, or people will sooner or later hurt me or something like that. So what I do is that I do not let any other person in. Another example from my own experiences is that I for a long time thought that I was annoying in conversations and that I made people uncomfortable, because many times I felt that I was the one who bringing up, the deeper shit, since I'm very interested in a lot about inner work and stuff like that, right? And I always open up conversations and dialogues for it. And you could see sometimes that people that they got a little bit uncomfortable or didn't know what to say. And instead of seeing that that was maybe from that person's perspective, and it doesn't necessarily have to be something wrong with it, just that they maybe didn't have the answers directly, or they actually felt uncomfortable because they were not used to talk about it. And then I turned into that, okay, you know what, it's no need for me to talk about it because people don't want to talk about it. And after that I realized that there is so much more to it. It's also depending on what type of people that you're surrounding yourself by. And also at times I was simply not in the kind of discussions or these social settings where those people were interested in talking about what I was interested in talking about. So that is also one type of example for you. So this is a sign that it is time for you to redefine and reawaken yourself is that you are criticizing yourself a lot. Self-criticism is something where I notice from day in and day out, people I meet, people I hear around, whatever, and I think it is because I have been and I'm still criticizing myself a lot. So it's easy, when you are starting to pay attention to it, that you can really hear how you're criticizing yourself on a daily basis. So that is something that I see is also very common for it. The 7th sign is about that you are constantly feeling confused and you're feeling overwhelmed by that. You're feeling uncertain because you don't really have clarity in a situation, or you don't know where to go next and so forth. So many times you see that you have created this confusion and this non-clarity in many areas of your life, where you are questioning, like, what should I do, what do I want to do, what do I love, what you're stuck in this type of loop where you feel that you are being more and more confused about your situation and about yourself. And this uncertainty can also be that you don't really know many times why you're sad about something. You maybe feel at a constant level or like daily that you have some certain type of discontentment. You're not feeling happy about your days, or you're feeling low in the end of the day, or you're going up and down in mood swings or whatever, but you don't seem to understand why is that, then is a huge sign that there is something that you need to reawaken within you to understand more about yourself in. The 8th sign is that you tend to have a scattered mind. A scattered mind is the opposite of having a calm mind. And it's a little bit similar to what I talked about in the number 7 reason. But also scattered mind can be everything from, that you are going for a walk, let's say like that. You're going for a walk, you're having a good day, the sun is shining, and then suddenly something happens. You just get reminded of that conversation that you have that was embarrassing, or you felt like some type of thing, or you are being reminded of that, oh, I don't have the life that I want. You suddenly get some type of input, some person like bike by and say something, or you hear something on the way, or you just get a picture, whatever it is, and suddenly you jump into that, and you jump into that loop, and the next minute someone calls you and they are talking about something fun or whatever, and suddenly you're in totally other state again, and you're thinking like, oh, fun, life is fun, or something in regards to that you're just changing and shifting your thoughts depending on the external environment also, and the input that you get from the external world. So that can also be a scattered mind in regards to that. You one minute want to learn everything about meditation, and the next minute you want to learn everything about painting. I don't know, but you have this kind of jumps between thoughts all the time, and it's difficult for you to get rooted and decide for something and get rooted. That is type for me an explanation of the scattered mind. So the ninth sign is that your mood is fluctuating a lot. So you might realizing that when you're coming home from work or something like that, you are getting sad quickly, and then after a while you're getting very happy, something happens, or you think about something, then you're feeling low again, or you're feeling irritated, you're having tension. There are a lot of things that is happening underneath the surface when we feel that we are not really in a natural state, a natural balance with our emotions. Because many times what I notice, it is about that we are maybe neglecting our needs, and we're not listening to our needs. We do have a deep sorrow about something, a deep wound about something. We need to heal certain parts in our life. For instance, there are a lot of triggers that triggering us, and that we're constantly reacting on in our environment and such. So when you notice if you're like you feel that you change in mood quite often, that is also a huge sign that, yeah, it's time to reawaken some parts of you and understand a little bit more about yourself. So the next sign, the 10th sign, now we have 2 signs left after that, is that you are feeling drained on energies. And this is a little bit similar to what I talked about in the previous one. But you feel that you are getting very drained, exhausted, I would say, like energy fatigue in that way. I recently did actually a reading about that. So if you're interested in knowing more about, your energies, what might be draining for you, and how you can uplift your energies, then definitely check that out. I will link it in the description so you have the ability to check it out if you feel interested. So the 11th sign is that you're keeping falling into the same patterns and experiences, and that is also something where we normally need to work on different ways how we can get out of that, how we can break the chain and get some change in our lives. So that is a huge sign that we need to have a look at what it is that causing these type of experiences to be created over and over again. And that can be in a certain area, but it can also be in many different areas where you see that maybe it's a relational pattern I have, or it is a behavioral pattern I have towards something. It's some type of belief, and that is keep on repeating itself and showing up or showing itself in different scenarios and with different people, because I have an underlying belief to what will happen or to how I will be treated and so forth. So when we are constantly paying attention to that things are happening to us that are a negative form that we don't want any longer, of course, then it is time for you to dig a little bit deeper what that can be about. So the 12th and last sign is actually kind of a bonus that I added for those of you who are people pleasers, and that is that you notice that you don't treat yourself as you treat others. So maybe you take care of a lot of others, you are being there and supporting and encouraging for others, and always a very good friend, always a very good partner, but you do not live by the same rules, or you do not apply that towards yourself. You keep on saying to people that they need to rest and listen to their bodies or listen to their intuition, but you're noticing that you are constantly not doing that yourself. So that is also a common sign where I see that we tend to not give ourselves that wisdom that we give to others. Okay, so that was all the 12 signs that we've been talking about today. I hope that this helped you, and keep on listening to your Within Talks. Hope to see you next time. Bye.